Joining me now is co-CEO of the Executive Council of Australian Jewry, Ryvchin. Alex, thank you so much for joining me. We always appreciate your time. Look, we were just talking to Jonathan Lee just before, and he was showing us the memorials here, not just here behind us. I mean, this has been growing and growing by the day, but in other parts of Bondi as well, people are coming, sitting in solidarity, laying flowers. As a member of the community, what does this say about how the community has responded to this?
It says what we always knew, which is that this country of ours is great and is made up predominantly of fair-minded, decent, loving human beings. And when they see these images of two psychotics shooting human beings as though they're animals, children, the elderly. I was speaking to one of the survivors today. He was telling me that he saw one of the gunmen picking off elderly people with headshots. You know, this is the level of barbarism and savagery that we're dealing with here. And of course, 99% of Australians abhor that. And they've come here to support the Jewish community. And I've been here all day speaking to members of, all different communities who have come from all over the state, Indigenous leaders, ordinary people who have come to show love for the Jewish community and to figuratively and literally throw their arms around us and show their solidarity and support, and it's beautiful. And there are so many stories that are coming out, again, from survivors. There's also the story of one of the victims, Ryvchin, who so heroically tried to confront one of the gunmen, threw a rock at him and was shot dead. Ryvchin was an extraordinary human being. He was one of the people who willed the synagogue into existence through his enterprise and charity and devotion. And his loss will be felt by this community, as will all the losses. So we're really suffering at the moment, as you know, as you've seen. But we know that Australians are with us, and we feel it so intensely at the moment. The Sydney Swans came down, John Howard was here. It almost surprises us a little bit because in a way we still feel like it's our own internal tragedy, but it's not. It's a national catastrophe. This is the worst mass killing since Port Arthur, which says something about the peacefulness of this country. But we've been rocked and we've been shaken, and things have changed here irrevocably.
And I think sometimes when the worst of humanity is shown, at the same time the very best of humanity is shown. Because, we've seen people from all walks of life come down. Everybody has been affected by this, not just the Jewish community. I want to talk to you about the antisemitism report by the Special Envoy, Jillian Segal. The Prime Minister, of course, held that emergency meeting of National Cabinet in the wake of the Bondi massacre. He did not raise it. He did not raise it, though it's been sitting on his desk now, catching dust for the last 6 months. He was asked about this at his press conference today. This is what he said in response. Have a listen.
That is what it is. We have taken the report from the anti-Semitism envoy, and what we are doing is busy implementing it. And we talked about that yesterday. We went through the full range of measures which we are doing. I talked about it, including the hate speech, Nazi symbols, what we're doing on doxing, what we've done with the creation of the National Student Ombudsman, what we're doing with the education program on Together for Humanity in schools, as well as security, migration issues and cultural issues as well.
So, Alex, as you heard him there, he's saying, no, well, we are implementing it, we are doing it. Is he? Is that how you feel? Do you think he is implementing it?
No, look, it's not the experience of the community at all. From my conversations with Jillian Segal, it's not her experience either. And, we heard after Jillian handed down that report in August, I believe, the Education Minister say that he's going to hold off on implementation until the Islamophobia report comes out, which was just scandalous at the time. And we knew that there was no time to dither. We knew this was a matter of urgency. The whole point of that diligent piece of work by Jillian Segal, who consulted widely in formulating that. She built on the work that people like you and me did at the Sky News Anti-Semitism Summit, which Shari led. It was to have a series of meaningful, clear reforms that would prevent us from getting here. That's exactly what this was about. We were in a crisis and we didn't want to be in a massacre. And the failure to implement meaningful reforms then is why we are where we are. And the fact that the government now is talking about having implemented it in part or whatever, it's so hollow, and I'm not sure it's factually accurate either.
No, well, that's the thing. And as we said, it's been sitting on the desk for 6 months. And there were some terrific recommendations in that report. And for the Prime Minister to not even raise it as an emergency national cabinet meeting, number one priority after 15 people are murdered. I just think it just absolutely, it just beggars belief. Alex, I have to ask you, because you've been down here for the last 2 days, and you are such an integral member of the Jewish community. You really do such a wonderful job. How are you? How are you doing personally?
I don't know. That's not an easy thing to contemplate. I don't think anyone's doing particularly well. And if they tell you they're doing well, I think they're misleading you or themselves. So I'm not sure, to be honest, but I'm buoyed by being part of a wonderful community. And I know we're united, and I know I'm part of a tradition of thousands of years of history of withstanding the greatest hardship and foes that fall by the wayside. And we succeed and we survive and we endure. And the reason is simple. It's because we believe in an eternal truth of life over death. We believe in our traditions, in our community, in the goodness of life. And that's why we get through these catastrophes. But this is a catastrophe, to be sure. And, you know, we're suffering. And in the coming days, we'll bury our dead, which will be important to begin a healing process, but will be really painful as well to see that happen. But we'll get through this one day at a time. That's the only way.
Yeah, well, look, you're doing a wonderful job being an advocate for this community, and you know, our hearts do go out to everybody, because it's been a very, very tough few days. It's been a tough 2 years, but it's culminated in the most horrific atrocity. Alex Ryvchin, great to have you on. Thank you very much for joining me. Really,
thank you for your support,
I really appreciate it. Thank you.